All right, people, back here on YouTube. Today we're going to do something fun and exciting. It's going to be Sex Talk 101. Woo! Yeah! It's going to be Sex Talk 101, episode 13. Now, you might say, what can we talk about in episode 13 of Sex Talk? We're going to talk about, can the web actually get you laid? Yeah, we got to talk about it. No series is ever completed without talking about the internet, the World Wide Web. Or you could just say social media. So, there comes a time in your life when you're a man and you scratch your head and you say, I got the house, I got the car, I got 2 jobs or 3 jobs, or I got a private business, I'm making money, I'm kicking ass and taking names, but there's something that I'm trying to get, but it's hard to get. A woman. A lot of times, when you do not social media, when you do self-improvement, and you finally get to the final stage or the final level, there's always this one thing that has to always get in the way of your prime objective. Just before you can finally seize the moment, there's something else that pop up. There's something else to get in the way. Something that takes it just a little bit more longer. And we're going to ask the question, and depending on how the question gets asked, it might get a huge reaction in a good way or in a bad way. And that is, have you ever noticed that the vast majority of women are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Tinder? Because if you have noticed that, and this is something that I've been wanting to do for a very long time, I just couldn't seem to figure out how would I make this video introduction for my YouTube audience. And by the way, I want to say thank you to my 55 subscribers. Now I have 55 subscribers. If it weren't for you, these videos would never be possible. So I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you for looking at my movie review. I was a little reluctant of uploading it up on the internet because I wasn't quite sure what the reaction would be to me making a movie review of such as that. But thank you. All right, now back to the video presentation. Now, can you use Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Tinder and Google Hangout with conjunction of YouTube? Can you actually use that to help you get laid? And I would probably say you got a 75 to 80% chance of using that to your advantage. Women use it 99.999% accurately. Doesn't matter if it's black women, white women, Latino women, Asian women. Don't matter if they're young, old, middle age. Doesn't matter if they're from foreign countries. Women 99.999% use Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Tinder. And I feel like that most men, and including myself, we're fighting what they call a downhill battle or an uphill battle, meaning you're at a clear disadvantage. Just because you have 2 jobs or 3 jobs or a house or an apartment or a car, that does give you a competitive advantage. Don't think it does. It does. Problem is when you throw stuff like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Tinder, and not just YouTube, but what's that other one? Snapchat. When you put them all together combined, now you're facing a real ultimate challenge. And that is, some women believe that if you don't have a Facebook, they don't want to talk to you on the phone. If you don't have a Snapchat, then they think you're boring. Or what's the word they look for? Lame. Yeah, there we go, lame. If you don't have an Instagram or a Twitter, they think something's wrong with you. And a lot of times when you hear me say in my YouTube videos, try to talk to young, hot, attractive women from the age of 18 to 29 years of age, A lot of you do that, but then you'll say, well, Alex, how come every time I talk to an 18-year-old, a 19-year-old, or a 20, or even a 21-year-old, they're messing with Instagram or Snapchat or Tinder or Facebook or Instagram, especially Instagram. Instagram and Facebook get used a whole lot. And let's not forget Twitter and Tinder. Well, I'm here to tell you that if most men use that to their full advantage, they be a force to be reckoned with. Translation, if a man can figure out how to use Facebook to promote his business, his private business, and to promote his own website, what's to say you could figure out Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook? Once you figure all of that out, you're one unstoppable son of a bitch. I mean, you'll be having women line up to your door like that once you figure it out. Let me tell you a story so I can get straight to the obvious point. About 12 years ago, there was this Midtown. Well, allegedly, he claimed he was Midtown. And he made like about maybe 150 YouTube videos in a 3-year span. 3 years, he made 150 videos. And the theory's always been thrown on the internet that when you think of YouTubers, you think of guys that belittle women, women bash. They talk about how they can't stand female nature, hypergamous. But the theory on the internet is the vast, not me, but some men talk trash about women to get the attention of women. I'm going to say it again. They trash talk women to get the attention of women. They don't care if it's a black woman, black women, white women, Latino women, Asian women. Hell, these women can be from a foreign country like China, Japan, Russia, Germany, France. Any woman's attention they can get, they want their invited attention. A lot of times they don't care if the woman is tall, short, skinny, fat. They don't care if she's young or old. As long as they get some woman's attention, that's all that matters. And the purpose of them doing that is to somehow get a woman to talk to them, because when they go to work or when they go to school or they go to the park or the gym or the movie theater, 90% of the time they're ignored by women. So when they get on the internet, they bear their frustrations on the internet, especially here on YouTube, to get the attention of what? Women. And someone theorized that the theory on the internet is some men are trying to use this so they can get laid. Now, if you use it properly, you might be able to attract a lot of attention and a strong following. And maybe somebody outside the internet might watch your videos and might wonder, why is this guy on the internet talking shit about women? You know, why is he woman bashing? And that person might confront you face to face in person. Now, I do believe 75 to 80%, if you use Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, with conjunction of YouTube and Tinder, you have an 80% chance of getting laid if you figure out the politics to it. There's always politics and stuff. You figure that out, you're one unstoppable son of a bitch. Now, the guy made these videos, and one day, he got confronted in person by a girl. You know, a very beautiful, sexually attractive woman. I think she was an 8 or a 9. Not a 10, but she was an 8 or a 9. And the story goes, he was a Midtown. Now, if you know what Midtown is, it's men going their own way. And you know how they have the rules in Midtown. That should not stab my other brother in the back, my brother in Midtown of the Brotherhood. Well, he got sick and tired of not getting laid because he went 6 years not getting laid. And finally, in year 7, after making 150 videos in 3 years that led up to 7 years, he deleted his YouTube channel and got into a relationship for 7 months. It was fun, but then he broke up with the girl, went back on to Midtown as if he never left. Now, some of his fans and some of the other Midtowns accepted him back with open arms, Others looked at him like you should have never left in the first place. You should have never chose a woman over the Brotherhood of Midtown. But it wasn't over. The girl forgave him, and the girl took his ass back. And he deleted his YouTube channel of Midtown 2 times and got into a relationship with the girl. And this time, the relationship will last some 3 years, some 3 years and 5 months. So he broke up with the girl, got with another girl, and he never really returned back to the internet. And when he did return back to the internet and said it's okay to be Midtown and have a girlfriend, well, you could see how some of the brothers reacted to that negatively. Like, how dare you betray the Brotherhood? How dare you betray Midtown for some piece of ass? And this theory's been on the internet for a long time that a lot of guys are using the internet to attract women's attention because they have a hard time competing in nightclubs, the bars. They have a hard time of competing for a woman's attention at work, at the job, the gym, the movie theater, the park. They have a hard time in general trying to attract women's attention. A lot of times when you be trying to get a girl's phone number or an email address, usually Facebook's in the way. Usually Instagram, Twitter, Tinder's in the way. And usually the alpha males and the bad boys figures this out very fast and very quick. It's usually a beta male men who usually, I don't mess with Facebook. And then that could become the reason why you get rejected. You know, you always hear a girl go, I don't have a phone. Or she might have a cell phone, but she has a limited budget. And every time she uses up her gigabytes and her minutes, now she can't call out to no one. Sounds stupid, doesn't it? You get rejected because you don't have a Facebook. Or you don't have a Instagram, or you don't have a Twitter, you get rejected. Sounds stupid, doesn't it? Well, that's because it is stupid. But what I'm trying to say is, in the very beginning, I would say I was very much against social media. Now that I'm 32 years old, I'm starting to think, if the alpha males and the bad boys can use that to their advantage, why can't the rest of us men use that to our full advantage? Think about it. Information is power, and power is information. I'm going to say it again. Power is information. Information's power. 90% bullshit, 10% truth. I'm going to say it again. 90% bullshit, 10% truth. You ever ask yourself that when you meet a woman out to lunch, or you take a woman out to lunch or to dinner, you always get this feeling in the back of your head that she's not telling everything? You want to know how many times she's been in a relationship. Is she married? Does she have kids? You want to know about her sexual past. You want to know what high school or what college she went to. You ever get the feeling that when you ask her these questions in person, that there's some hesitation, that she's lying to you, that there's something that you can't put quite together? Well, Facebook is a blessing, because now when you go on Facebook, you can see someone's past history from 10 years ago, 15, 20, 25, 30 years ago. And you see pictures always tells the story. You want to find out if a girl's been a freak with it, just go on Facebook. Just go on Twitter. Just go on Instagram. You'll be surprised of the naughty photos that they have on the internet that you will never find on their phone. Because women are so crafty that women know that if I leave my cell phone laying around, he might see something that I don't want him to see. But if you go on Facebook, you're going to find out all there is to know about a person. You go on Twitter, you go on Instagram, you're going to find out all there is to know about a person. Even if they block their Facebook and it's limited information, it's still enough for you to make a decision. Do I want to take this woman out to lunch and dinner or not? That's a lot of times, that's what's wrong with women that are 18, 19, 20, 21, sometimes 22 years old. A lot of times that's what be wrong with them. And you see, when you be trying to take them out to lunch and dinner, they compare you to the men they see on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. And if you're not the hot stud that they see in these movies and these television shows, then you really don't stand a chance. I'll give you an example of what I mean when I say that. Let's look at the Marvel Cinematic Universe, right? A lot of guys try to be assholes because they figure, well, if I'm an asshole, a woman will like it. Okay, I'm gonna explain why women contradict themselves and why women don't want you to be an asshole. But when they see somebody like Robert Downey Jr. play Tony Stark, Iron Man, and he's an asshole in the movie, and then he's an asshole. Well, not that he's an asshole in real life, but if he was to do it, he could get away with it because he's been playing a character that actually is an asshole in the movies. The thing is, Robert Downey Jr. could be an asshole and get away with it because of his character, and women will accept it. But if somebody like you come along and be an asshole, it's not going to be acceptable. So now you look at all three of those Iron Man films and Avengers, Avengers Age of Tron, Avengers Infinity War. You look at those three Avenger films and those Iron Man films, and then Captain America Civil War, they have a screenwriter that writes for him being a narcissistic / asshole. So if you're not Robert Downey Jr. and you're not Cumber Benedict, who plays Doctor Strange, because he's also an asshole in the movie. If you look at Doctor Strange the movie, his character was an asshole. So if you're not Iron Man and you're not Doctor Strange, being an asshole ain't gonna work for you. And women will pick up on that very fast and very quick unless you have the charisma of Doctor Strange. Unless you got the charisma and the sex appeal of Tony Stark, Iron Man. Some guys try to be the wisecrack comedian Joker. Like RuPaul. I'm not RuPaul. The guy who played Ant-Man. He's a funny comedian, right? Chris Pratt. Star-Lord, right? Peter Quill from Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2, right? Those guys are funny. They use their charm to make women laugh. Now, Chris Pratt could crack jokes at your job, and even if they're slightly offensive, he could get away with it because of his character. But if somebody like me and you try it, you get brought into the H&R office and get told that's inappropriate and don't joke like that ever again. So Ant-Man and Chris Pratt, Star-Lord, can crack wisecrack jokes that are highly offensive, and they can get away with it. Now let's look at if you're trying to be the badass, the alpha male. You look at Steve Rogers, Captain America, right? Well, Chris Evans can play a tough guy, and it's acceptable. Bucky Barnes, better known as the Winter Soldier, he could be the bad boy, and it could be acceptable for those actors. Same thing if you try to be the Black Panther, same thing if you try to be Thor or the Incredible Hulk in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And it's the same thing with television. You look at shows like The Flash, Arrow, Legends of Tomorrow, you look at those shows, and let's not forget Vampire Diaries and the originals, where all the guys are wearing leather jackets and they're all badasses / asshole vampires. Women watch that stuff on television and they identify with style. They identify with fashion trends. And if you're not trying to resemble anything from the television shows or the movies, well, you got a lot of competition on your hands. And if you ever go on Facebook and you just read a woman's Facebook, you'll always be not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6. Yes, I'm doing LeBron James. Not 7, not 8, not 9. You'll be 10 steps ahead of the rest of the pack. You will be able to see everything and know everything like that. You will always know what goes on when you go on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Tinder, and any other social media app at your disposal. And you know what impresses the hell out of a woman? When a guy is able to take all of the social media and use it to his advantage. And you know what that does for you? It makes it easy for you to get laid, and it makes it harder for the other guy to get laid because you figured out what women like. That's when I say in my other video that if you find out what women like, you can turn it into a weapon and use it against them. That's why I'm mentioning television shows like Vampire Diaries, The Originals, True Blood, Twilight. When Twilight was huge, a lot of girls were into the vampire craze. Sons of Anarchy, The Avengers, Captain America, Thor, Iron Man, Guardians of Galaxy. All the actors that play in those movies, women identify with them. And a lot of times women will compare you to the guys they see in the movies and the television shows and base everything from off a movie, a television show, something from off the internet and from a book and compare it to you and me. And then go, well, you don't drive motorcycles. Chris Pratt does. Rejection. Well, you're not charismatic like Doctor Strange and Iron Man. Rejection. Yeah, to me and you, it's stupid. But to a woman, it's logical sense. I'm just trying to give you guys the answers to your problem. Now, that we got to the forefront, let's get to what can we do. Now, if a woman has kids and she don't tell you in person, you can always find out by using Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Trust me, you'd be surprised what type of photos be laying around from 10, 15, 20 years ago or 30 years ago. And you see, that's when you be trying to mac to a girl that's 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 years old. That's what the hell be wrong with them. So even if you have 2 jobs, 3 jobs, a house or an apartment, even if you have a car and you've already mastered every level of self-improvement, there is still something left for you to still master: the internet. And once you master the internet on every single level, there's nothing left to learn after that. Then it comes down to 2 things. Either the woman give you a chance, or the woman does what they usually do when they play mind games. I'm just trying to give you guys a perspective. This video was a long time coming. Trust me, I've caught a bunch of women on Facebook from my past that got fat and out of shape. They got married, they got divorced 5 times. And guess what? When I see them in person, they look like shit. And then they'll try to walk up to you and sweet talk you. And you know what? You know what's real funny? They would be the ones putting all the stuff on Facebook for the whole world to watch. And that gets used against them. See, if they set it on private or if they blocked it, then you would be at a disadvantage. But because some women, not all, but you got a vast majority, are narcissistic, that means they just love attention, they become victims of their own circumstances. 90% bullshit, 10% true. When you meet someone face to face in person, the vast majority of people that you meet, when they talk to you, 90% of what comes out of their mouth is bullshit, and only 10% that comes out of their mouth is the truth. 90% bullshit, 10% truth. When you meet a woman, you sometimes bullshit a woman. 90% of the time, a woman will ask you, do you have your own house? And you'll say, I have a house, but you will never tell her you're living with mom and dad. So in a way, you are doing 90% bullshit, but you're doing 10% truth. And in actual reality, you're supposed to do that because if you tell too much of the truth, you might run away and scare the woman off. So you're going to tell 90% bullshit, 10% truth. You only tell more about yourself if you know for sure if you're getting into a relationship with a woman. Otherwise, it's 90% bullshit, 10% truth. So I hope this video was very helpful. I might make a sequel depending on how you guys like the video. And then Thursday, I will give you the video that you've all been waiting for. how to increase your energy production in sex and in sports performance. Peace.